How's everybody doing? It is Paul from Magpie 24/7, back again with another view from the van. A few days gone from England just losing out by the narrowest of margins to Italy. 1-1 in the European Championship finals. It goes to penalty kicks, and despite misses on both sides and some fantastic saves by little wee arms Jordan Pickford, who I can now go back to attacking Fabinho Mackham. Despite making some good saves in the shootout, which at one point I thought we were going to get a most unlikely victory by penalty kicks. Unfortunately, Italy do literally an ant's knob more than what England do. They get the glory, and that is how frustrating and how narrow the margins can be and often are in the game of football. That small details like that, can make such a difference. Freak occurrences like with the penalty the Rashford one. Freak occurrences happen like that, and that's the difference between winning and losing. But we win as a team, we lose as a team. I don't think there's any shame in losing the final. Like I said, it was a draw after after full time, a draw after extra time. It's got to be decided somewhere. It's the most cruelest and difficult of ways to accept, but penalty kicks, we lost out. Italy, on the other hand, did fantastically well. They have obviously missed a few penalty kicks as well, but their keeper, Man Mountain, is a fantastic tournament, hasn't he? And yeah, deserving winners. The start of the tournament, the first game in the tournament, and I think everybody has been impressed with them. And since they got embarrassed by missing out on the World Cup, they have been on such a run, and they've been like a team possessed to try and make atone for what has gone on before with regards to missing out on that World Cup. They were possessed. They produced some big results. They knocked some big teams out. And for England, it's a case of constantly getting closer. You're talking about semi-finals, then you're talking about third place finishes in tournaments. Now you're talking about runners-up in the competition. We are definitely getting better with regards to championship performance and being able to do it when it counts. And a lot of that comes down to Gareth Southgate. Rumours about him getting awards off the Queen and stuff like that. I think it's quite right. I think for what he's done for the country, not again, and I will say this, because I critiqued him before, not the most overly qualified England manager that we've ever had recently. However, his ability to bond a group of players and to get them feeling like a club side is it's a joy to behold. And to me, it's a large part of the reason why we got so far, balls deep into this tournament. Was down to that mentality and that team spirit and the lack of clicks, because we've seen this time and time again. England's always had fantastic, quality, gifted players, but far too often you had your Manchester United clicks, your Liverpool clicks, your Chelsea clicks, so on and so forth. So when the team comes together, they've still got the little groups, and that in turn doesn't make for a good environment for success, shall we say. So yeah, credit to Gareth Southgate, who's come out in the press after the final and said he wants to continue on. The FA came out and said we're more than happy for you to continue on. They want to do a new deal, get that sorted out quickly. Southgate said he expects to lead us into the World Cup. Nice confidence there about obviously getting it sorted and getting through to it. But the good thing as well about this delayed tournament and all that is, yes, we've got another layer of experience in what is a young, inexperienced squad. It's not like an Italy squad who's quite aging, to be honest, and is probably coming near the end of the cycle. We've got a young squad who's only going to get better for this experience, and they don't have to wait too long to be able to try and put right some of how their MSE is some of the wrongs and some of the injustices. They've only got a year to wait before the World Cup finals. with Qatar and all the shenanigans and stuff about them getting the World Cup. But yeah, there's not too long to be able to put right the wrongs how they probably feel it right now. But for me, you know, for what they've given the nation over the course of the last month, at a time when I think most of the country has been on its arse psychologically, with all the COVID restrictions, the lockdown, the, you know, businesses struggling, etc., etc., people losing loved ones before the time. For what they've given the country back and a way to focus and celebrate and come together as one, that is fantastic. So yeah, pretty much looking forward to seeing what England can do. And it's sort of re-energised, because I was getting to a stage where I think international football, it was getting a little bit boring. It was just like, oh yeah, another tournament. Because it gets to a certain, you know, stage when you sort of, you've seen it, you've been there, you've been through the Euro 96s, you've been through the France 98s, you've seen tournaments on the other side of the world and this, that and the other, and you've seen the same struggles and everything, and you sort of think, oh, here we go again. But I just honestly believe that Southgate has delivered something better, something fresher, something more exciting, a real onus on youth. There was great performances throughout the tournament from all over the park. Harry Maguire has been fantastic at the back for England, great centre back for England. I thought Luke Shaw's been fantastic. Walker's done good. You know, Harry Kane, after a dodgy start, came into the tournament more and more as it went on. Sterling, you can't look far much further, you know, past him for, you know, the man of the tournament really for us. He's been brilliant. He's been a huge player. He's scored important goals at important times. Yeah, and all these players who we were mentioning, they're at the right age where they're still going to be absolutely in their prime. And then you've got your Fodens coming through, you've got your Grealishes coming through, your Sanchos, your Sake, all those players that we've, you know, relied on in this tournament. They're low end of 20s. You know, it's not like I said, like an Italian side. Yes, we probably could have done with some of their experience, like when Saka got away and he was absolutely clotheslined and brought down. We could have done with a little bit maybe of that experience. But for the longer term bet, England's youth and hunger and desire and potential has to, as an England fan, excite you and make you think about the possibilities for future tournaments going ahead. The World Cup that's going to be coming up, the next European Championships then fast on the horizon. England have to be serious contenders with this group of players that they've already got. There's no rebuilding job really that needs to be done. It's just a case of continuing to nurture and integrate and to get them the right amount of minutes in the boots, and then also for them to stay fit and obviously keep experiencing success at the club sides, as you know a lot of the English sides do now. So all the signs are positive. We will dust ourselves down. It was gutting. It felt like a kick in the bollocks after the match, but you can't blame any of the lads who stepped up and had a go. You can maybe critique and say that they should have had a little bit of action before the penalty kicks. Why not bring them on at half time, even say, you know, in extra time? Give them 10-15 minutes, stretch the legs, get a bit of a feel of the ball, get them into the match and involved. And you know, you don't want the first strike of the ball being the penalty kick. It's not an easy situation to be able to manage, in my opinion. And yeah, substitutions were a little bit strange in the final. Italy were making plenty of them and changing things around and pressing and probing and trying to ask different questions of England. England sort of stuck with what we had, and it was good because obviously we got off to a fantastic start. Fun to cunt from, what is it, Shaw Carlos or something like that. Brilliant, beautiful strike of the ball. No chance the Italian goalkeeper. What was it, possibly too soon? Yeah, you could maybe argue that. To get a goal that early, I think the natural instinct then is to sit back a little bit, and that we did a lot of during the game. We had little moments here and there and little spells in the second half, 5 minutes here and there. But this is what I'm saying with regards to the Italians. Yes, they got it by an ant's knob, but they were good value for the win, and you can't really begrudge them based upon the tournament that they've just had, the performances, who they've dumped out, and the fact that they had the better, of the possession, shots, everything in the final. They were worthy winners, but it still doesn't take away. You would have took England having 5 or 10% possession if it meant that one goes in off someone's arse and you win it 1-0, 2-1 or whatever. You would take that all day long, but it went to the team who were the better on the day and who've been better on the tournament. So congratulations to Italy and Mancini. He's came in for a difficult situation, he's turned it round, he's done exactly what he promised to do, and he's restored a little bit of pride in the Italian shirt after missing out in the previous World Cup and stuff. So yeah, scenes over there, huge celebrations as they return to Italy, rightfully so. I will just touch on the scenes in England. Travel watching Newcastle up and down the country, all over the place, and I have done for a very, very long time, and never really seen much trouble, to be honest. Lads having a good time, having a laugh, lasses having a good time, having a laugh, very jovial, laughing, piss taking, songs, enjoying the moment, never had an ounce of trouble. But with England, it just seems to be that they shoot themselves in the foot all of the time. And I just don't get. I do not get why. The scenes are disgusting. It's probably also not going to help us get chance of hosting a World Cup or anything else like that in the future. When people, absolute fucking pond scum, idiots, pushing their way into Wembley Stadium, they've got a sense of self-entitlement. It really, really grinds my gears. You're pushing and you're attacking stewards who have got families and kids, and they're trying to do their job, and these people are absolute fucking imbeciles. And I hope that every single one of the bastards is caught, prosecuted, gets football banning orders, because we don't want this sort of thing. It's like England supporters used to be really bad for it in years gone by, and things have gradually got better, but there's always this disgusting undertone, and whether it's racial attacks on our own players, or whether it's physical attacks, forcing you into stadiums, rioting, fighting, it has to stop. And these people need to be identified and dealt with properly, banned from football stadiums, full stop. They're not going there for the football, the experience, this, that and the other. They're going because they're just a bunch of wankers, to be honest. And it just boils my piss how in this day and age we're still going over the same stuff. These people need serious repercussions and need to be dealt with in the appropriate manner. And there's no way that even one of them. When Harry Maguire's dad got attacked, I've seen he got cracked ribs and stuff. And it's like me as a dad. Would I want to bring my kids to England game at Wembley? No, I wouldn't, because it's a risk, and it shouldn't be fucking like this. You shouldn't have to weigh out the fucking risks to taking your kids. So yeah, embarrassing scenes yet again. And on top of the pitch invaders and stuff like that, England supporters once more causing all the wrong headlines. And yeah, you're not shocked, you're not surprised. It's just it's sadly, it's only a minority, but it fucks it up for the rest. But it's just typical of a certain element of England supporters fucking it up for just literally everyone else. So yeah, hopefully the police get a handle on these. They've got lots of images recorded. I've seen plenty of stuff on social media, and I hope these absolute bunch of idiots get caught, get shamed, get into trouble, lose jobs, get prison time, get huge fines, get banning orders. You know, I've no sympathy for them pushing. Well, we couldn't get to. I don't give a shit. I do not give a shit. It does not excuse the crap that went on. And this is exactly why. Take away FIFA's, issues around how they condone themselves and stuff like that. They need to sort their shit out, no doubt about it. But we're not going to get a World Cup whilst we're still doing this sort of absolute primeval shite. We're not going to get World Cup when there's huge problems with racism still in the game today, in this year. You know, it shouldn't have gone in previous years. And you're looking at things and it's like, I remember being at school and there's been so much information and TV programs and radio stuff and people coming into the school and talking about it and discussing the range of issues and answering questions that you wanted answering and all this sort of thing. And you know, is it the case of did that not get through to certain people? I just don't know. But education and strong prosecution and consequences for that behaviour has to happen, because this has to stop. You know, you're sitting there as England supporter, you're wearing the shirt, you've got the flags on the van's done out and this, that and the other, and then you're hearing and you're seeing all of this stuff. It puts, again, it's another way of putting you off from supporting the country, because it is just something that, I mean, I haven't witnessed on the Newcastle side of things at all, to be honest. I'm not saying that it will, or you know, it doesn't go on or whatever. I've never witnessed it around me. If I did, I think I know I would say something, or I'd report it to a steward or the police. But I never get that sense of there's going to be trouble when you go on a Newcastle away game. I'd never get the sense of there's going to be trouble even at a home game. But when it's England, you can just sense the knobheads about, you know. But yeah, let's hope that the authorities knuckle down on this one really, really strongly. Deal with these absolute bunch of fucking galahs once and for all, and deal with them really, really strongly. Because it would be nice to get a World Cup or another tournament. We've got a sample of it this time around with limited crowds, with the tournament still spread all over Europe. We've got a little bit towards the end. We've got some group games, and then towards the end we've got the semi-final and the final being on home soil. It would be fantastic to have a home tournament, to be able to take the kids to a home tournament in a safe and secure way, that they're going to go there, they're going to fall in love with the game and the sport, and not be absolutely scared shitless because some bunch of folks who've had drugs, or some bunch of folks who've had too much to drink and been on the pop all day are going to fucking ruin it for everybody else. Football needs to shed that image, really, really does. So yeah, that's my 2 pennies worth on it. But yeah, again, it just leaves a little bit of a sour taste in what has been a very, very good tournament. The refereeing has been, I thought, really, really top draw. Hardly any reliance on the use of fucking VAR. The referees are just using their eyes and common sense, which, lo and behold, works just as well as what a video camera does. I hope that our VAR improves off the back of what's just gone off. VAR needs to be there for contentious decisions, or borderline decisions, to clear up, is it the penalty, is it not, matters of fact really quickly, as they were done in this tournament, not the shower of shit that we've had in the in the Premier League last season, where it's just farcical at times, and that's saying even from a fact that Newcastle benefited a few times through it. But these were looking back at decisions from 5 minutes ago and, we need to pull it back, lads. No, not for me one little fucking bit. Anyway, back onto the Newcastle side of things now.
Let's go, Gren.
So yes, on to Newcastle United matters. With the Euros over now, it's all eyes back onto St James's Park, all eyes onto Newcastle United, and yeah, inevitably that's going to mean that it's all eyes on it's like an episode of the fucking Bill or something like that, you know what I mean? It's like all chuffing law and order, isn't it? But yeah, Newcastle in an absolute and utter state of legal turmoil, everything on hold, actually tighter than fucking normal, which is normally, as we know, as tight as a fucking duck's arse. So the fact it's even being tighter than normal is a cause for worry heading into another season of no doubt fighting for our Premier League survival once again. But yeah, movement wise, Newcastle have confirmed contracts for all of the out contracted players, barring Andy Carroll, who has not been mentioned. He's not been thanked for his services, still not official retain list, but the club have announced Paul Dummett, Fabian Schär. They've had options in the contract they've been taken up on. So yeah, 1 year extensions to the contracts on the same terms. They have been obviously activated, so they will stay through that, you would believe. And then the rest of the lads have all had new contracts. The most surprising of which I would say would be Jacob Murphy. 6-year contract to Jacob Murphy is a huge roll of the dice, because you're not locking in a player who you think you're going to be making a profit on, because I can't see, if we were to sell him at any point, that we would make profit on Murphy. So you must be sitting there purely down to football skill, believe that for the next 6 years, or certainly the next 4 or 5, obviously a resale, hopefully on to make some money back, that he's going to be able to contribute to the first team. That's a big statement by the club about what they believe about Jacob Murphy, and that has to be a huge vote of confidence for the lad himself. Lifelong Newcastle United supporter, to be able to get that opportunity. He spoke very, very humbly in the press after the announcement of the contract. The club, surprise, surprise, the club that doesn't like to talk and gets on about the Premier League not talking and being open with communication, but they come out and just say that he signed a contract extension. His management team said 6 years. I find that amazing from a lad who was shipped out to Sheffield Wednesday basically just to get some money off the wage bill. He was doing that badly in a Newcastle shirt, but certainly credit to him last season. He's came back in as a squad player, and he's had some really standout performances, great goals, some decent work. Has to improve on his defensive work if he is to be a really, really good wing back. I think he's much better going forward than he is going backwards, but we've said that before with the likes of DeAndre Yedlin. Great going forward, not so great going backwards. But yeah, he's put some fantastic performances in this year, and he's kept the likes of Javier Manquillo firmly behind him. He's kept Emil Kraft really out of that role as well, which is probably the reason why they give him a 6-year contract, to keep that fucker out of the team. But yeah, 6 years, that was the headline announcement that came out from all the new contracts. Dwight Gale, that's an interesting one for me. I wouldn't have given him a contract. I'd have looked to remove him on and look to bring in somebody else, even if that somebody else was an Adam Armstrong or somebody like that. I just think a striker who scored 1 goal, it's the same argument that I've used for Andy Carroll for donkey's times. It's just not good enough. Strikers are judged on goals, and although he's been a fantastic servant, he did brilliant for that time in the Championship, scoring all those goals, getting us back up. I just don't think he's good enough. When he's come on, he's looked half-hearted, not really interested, going through the motions, and he had all the signs of he was going to be moving on in the summer, and then the club come out and they've announced that he's got a new contract. So I find that strange. Fernandez, he got his way, he got his 3-year contract. Club were adamant he was only going to get 1 or 2 years, but he stuck to his guns, got his contract in the end. and so we've got Fernandes, who's arguably our best defender. He's going to be staying here. My concern is, would he see a 3-year contract out again? You know, we pace deserting him year by year by year. I certainly think there's another good season, and maybe one as a good backup, I suppose. But I think the club needs to be looking longer term to bringing in a young, hungry, up and coming defender, like they did when they got Lascelles in and Darlow. Bring them in and integrate them, and again nurture them into the Newcastle United fold. But certainly for the short term, no complaints about signing up Fernandes. Again, put some really good performances in recently. Arguably our best defender, no brainer really. So the only question mark from the lot of them, like I touched on before, is Andy Carroll. He's not been in any of the training pictures. The club haven't commented on him. The Premier League on their official page had him down as going, didn't they? So yeah, answers on a postcard. You know, where's Wally? Where's Andy Carroll? He's probably off on some beach enjoying himself, and I don't know if he does return to Newcastle. Does he return to Newcastle as a coach? Because how much does he offer on the pitch? He only has to fart on the pitch and the fucking referee blows the opposite way. It's so frustrating. His style is of a different generation, and he's certainly not the Andy Carroll that we knew from the first time round, who scored all those different types of goals, was able to put himself around. But you know, he has stayed fit for the majority of time. So you know, if he just doesn't want to go into coaching now, perhaps there is somebody out there who will offer him a contract, maybe in the Championship or something like that. I don't think he'll drop down to the bin dippers level. Like I can't see him dropping down to do Division 3 and playing for like a Cheesy Chips or somebody else like that. I can't see that happening. But certainly there might be a Championship club who would take a punt on Andy Carroll and his physicality and what he offers in that league, and you know, a lot more direct types of play might well suit Andy Carroll. But we'll wait and see on that one. We'll wait and see. The takeover, like I said, touched on before, that's rumbling away. The cart, all the takeover stuff, that is rumbling away, and you know, you see lots of things on the you know, social medias, different people making different assumptions, guesses, best guesses, what they think might happen, this, that and the other. All we know is that you know, the court case itself is going to be happening, the arbitration that is, this month. We know that for sure, and then it shouldn't be too much long, because it has been a fast-tracked application before we get some sort of decision on this. For me, the Premier League hasn't got a fucking leg to stand on, and it speaks volumes how that piece of shit Dickmaster, he can come out and talk about England in the Euros, but he can't muster up anything else apart from his usual no comment shite when it comes to you know, Newcastle, the Newcastle takeover and the Saudi thing. And this coming in the week where there's a massive conference between the leaders of Saudi Arabia and Great Britain about strengthening trade relationships and their working relationship and their financing, etc, etc, etc. It just literally pisses against the wind that you've got a buyer who wants to buy, a seller that wants to sell, but you've got somebody who hasn't got a fucking dog in the fight, who's got a major problem with it. Well, that piss flap is going to be dealt with really, really shortly, because Nick DeMarco goes all around that like a fly round shit. He will deal with these bunch of absolute galahs and put them in the place, and then everything else that's going on with you know, the other legal action. I'm no doubt it'll expose the Premier League for the cartel, for the clothes shop, for the dodgy emails, dodgy deals, protecting of the greedy six, that they are all about. It's absolutely and utterly disgusting, but it's going to come out in the wash, and there needs to be a real sway of change in the powers that be, and the likes of Oliver Dowden and Boris Johnson, who talk a lot of good stuff. Oh, we want this, we want that, we want the other. Well, I'll tell you something, lads, actions speak fucking louder than words. So grow a set and fucking do something about it. Put some sort of system or board or something in place that oversees the dodginess at the Premier League and looks to clean up the national game, because it is literally as fucking dodgy as Del Boy, man. literally all sorts of crazy shit happening, and there's nobody. The inmates are running the fucking asylum in football, and it needs to give over and stop, because as we've proven recently, and I'll say it again, football is fuck all without the fans. Stop pissing the fans off, stop insulting the intelligence, and start getting with the programme. Newcastle fans want Saudi, they want to take over, they want the fresh start, and who the fuck are the Premier League and Dickmaster to stand in their way? They are absolutely a bunch of nobodies, a pure bunch of fucking nobodies. Anyway, that is pretty much it. The Joe Willock thing continues to rumble on. Nobody knows, is he coming, is he not, is he staying in Arsenal, is he not? Yeah, answers on a postcard with that one. I think we all just have to pray at this point, because it would just be such a momentous thing if we can get Joe Willock back. It would be a huge statement of intent by the club and the confidence in the fact that the takeover will be going through by hook or by fucking crook. Piss flap Dickmaster. Unbelievable. Anyway, take care, keep it tuned. More Newcastle videos coming out very, very shortly, and I'll speak to you later.